Hello, good afternoon, investors and corporate. Welcome to Digital Roadshow First Quarter 2024 Performance Review. This section will run about 45 minutes, including Q&A. Company will start the section by 30-minute presentation, followed by 15-minute Q&A. And during Q&A, investor may leave your question in meeting room chat box or use raise your hand function. We will open your microphone so you can ask the question to the company directly. So may I now invite PTG Energy Public Company Limited to start the presentation.
Thank you and good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to SAT Digital Roadshow for PTG Energy Public Company Limited in releasing the financial performance of the first quarter of 2024 and that fiscal year March 31st, 2024. Before I dive into today's presentation, I would like to introduce today's speakers today. On my right-hand side, Khun Parameet Sangwanchokwanit, Vice President and Head of Investor Relations.
สวัสดีครับ
And sitting in front of me, Khun Pichaya Kongsiritchuang, Investor Relations.
สวัสดีค่ะ
And I'm Mopasan Wang, Investor Relations. สวัสดีค่ะ So for today's agenda, I will walk you through on the snapshot of the first quarter of this year. Then will be the key performance of the first quarter of 2024, followed by ESG development and ending with the outlook of this year. Starting with the snapshot of the first quarter of 2024. As of March, we have the number of the PT services stations up to 2,199 stations across the nation. Within our oil business, we have captured the market share through retail stations up to 21.8%, with the sales volume across the retail channel up to 1,667 million liters, an increase of 16.4% year-on-year. In terms of the Max Card, currently we have more than 21 million members within our ecosystems. And also in terms of number of touch points in non-oil business, we have increased up to 2,211 touch points across nation. In terms of our LPG business, we still remain our ranking in the first position in terms of the market share through auto channel. And we have obtained our sales volume of LPG through auto channel up to 121 million liters, an increase of 18.2% year-on-year. In our Pantai business, we have increased our coffee branches within Pantai brand up to 947 branches, which increased from the beginning of the year by 65 branches and increased compared to the same period last year by 377 branches, which equivalent to 1 branch per day of expansion. In terms of the financial performance, if you look on the bottom left-hand side boxes, the revenue in this quarter recorded at 54,962 million baht, an increase of 11% Q-on-Q and 7.9% year-on-year. In terms of the revenue contribution on the pie chart at the top right-hand side, you can see that majority, 92.6%, still derived from oil business, followed by non-oil business of 7.4%. In terms of our gross profit in this quarter, we recorded at 3,543 million baht, a slight decrease of 2.1% Q-on-Q and but increased by 11.8% year-on-year. In terms of the gross profit contribution in this quarter, if you look at the non-oil business, you can see that in this quarter we increased from previous quarter of 20.8% and compared with the same period last year of contribution of 20.1%, we have grown up to 24.5% in this quarter, which can be categorized into LPG business of 9.9%, Pantai business of 6.7%, Maxmart convenience store business of 2.6% and other non-oil business of 5.3%. And EBITDA in this quarter, we reported at 1,512 million baht, a decrease of 12.4% Q-on-Q, but increased by 3.9% year. In terms of the key highlights, starting with our operation performance, you can see that we have the record-breaking of the oil sales volume through all channels up to 1,720 million liters, grow by 16.7% year-on-year, which is a remarkable growth and surpassing by eightfold compared to our market growth, which stood at 2.4% year-on-year. And also our LPG business also record a newest high records of its sales volume by grow by 14.3% year-on-year to 172 million liters. In terms of Pantai business, their revenue also grows substantially by 87.5% year-on-year to 494 million baht. The increase was not only from its business expansion, but also their same-store sales also increased up into the range of 20 to 30% year-on-year from our consistent patronage from our PT Max Card and PT Max Card Plus. And also in the previous quarter, in this quarter, we also launched a new product continually, and we expand into Assam tea from non-province. In terms of the auto bags, which is the automotive maintenance and services center business, in this quarter, they also recorded a significant growth of sales by one-fold, or 103.2% year-on-year, reaching out to 236 million baht. The increase was not only from its business touchpoint expansion, but also from same-store sales, along with the government scheme on the Easy e-Receipt of 2024, which has initiated to enhance the domestic spending by encouraging consumers to purchase products and services. And this was effective since January 1st until 15th of February. This allowing them to claim a tax deduction for the tax year of 2024 up to 50,000 baht. And this also led to our customers are likely to purchase a higher value of items. In terms of the bottom left-hand side, our PT Max Card business also launching the Max Card Plus EV, which we launched this to serve our customers who are using the EV cars. This Max Card Plus EV is a subscription model that our customers have to pay 599 Thai baht in order to get a benefit or a one-year benefit up to discount up to 10,000 baht. The example of the benefits that our customers will be received is they can get a discount by when they are charging at the ELEX by EGAT charging stations or ELEX by EGAT PT charging stations across the nation, that we could get a discount 50 Thai baht per use up to 2 times per month. Or even moreover, they also get other benefits within our PT ecosystem. For example, in our Pantai Coffee or Coffee World, they can get a discount up to 50% of coffee per drinks per up to 10 cups per month. Coming to the investment, recently the company has invested into Paisan Capital by investing a newly issued share of 33.33%. Paisan Capital is the hire purchase for a second-hand shops business, and we have currently recorded their share profit into our financial statement as well. And in terms of another investment is the Thai invested 10% of newly issued share from Thai Pipe, which is a waste management business, by operating and manufacturing in RDF, they will receive the refused derived fuel. And the last one is the recent investment that we have established and acquired 70% of Golak Port, which is a company that sole master franchisee of the subway in Thailand, and the rights has been effective since April the 1st onwards. Furthermore, the reason that we invested in this business is because we would like to enhance our value, the value and fortifying services for the PT Max World ecosystem. And also we would like to apply expertise from the global franchise like Subway business into the bolster our existing F&B operations, holding the master franchise right for 10 years with an initial investment of 12.6 million baht. Moreover, GL or Golak has recently established a Go Subway or GS in order to initiate the opening of 40 to 50 branches annually. And next will be our oil business overview. By ending of March 31st, 2024, the company has a number of service stations at 2,199 stations, which can be divided into oil cocoa of 1,847 stations, which grew by 32 stations compared to the first quarter of last year. And oil dodo also grew by 7 stations to 352 stations. If you look in terms of the segmented by regions, you can, on the right-hand side, you can see that the northeastern part, and northern part, and southern part contributed the largest portion of 31%, 21%, 12% respectively. In terms of the Thailand's oil consumption, on the left-hand side, the all-channel consumption was stood at 9,175 million liters, an increase of 2.4% year-on-year and 1.4% Q-on-Q. The increase was largely derived from the diesel consumption, which increased by 3% year-on-year and 2.4% Q-on-Q. However, the benzene fuel consumption was decreased by 0.9% Q-on-Q, but increased by 1.1% year-on-year. On the bottom left corner, the oil consumption through Thailand service stations stood at, in the first quarter, stood at 7,375 million liters, an increase of 0.5% Q-on-Q and 2.1% year-on-year. The diesel volume grew by 3.1% year-on-year and 2% Q-on-Q, which driven by the reduction of the excise tax on diesel fuel, coupled with the oil fund mechanism capping the prices at no more than 30 baht per liter, aiming to alleviate the cost of living for the public. Meanwhile, the benzene fuel consumption also saw a slight growth of 0.2% year-on-year, but dropped by 2.2% Q-on-Q due to the rising of the oil price. In the first quarter, the cabinet approved a 1 baht per liter reduction in gasoline prices from 7th November 2023 to January 31st, 2024 by utilizing the excise tax reduction and measures on the oil fund mechanism. In addition, the implementation plan for Euro 5 standard fuel has been commenced since January 1st, 2024 onwards. And also that will be lead to the company's higher cost of sales per liters as well in this year. In terms of the company's sales volume on the right-hand side, you can see that we have reported the record-breaking of highest sales volume of 1,720 million liters, an increase of 11.2% Q-on-Q and 16.7% year-on-year. These increase can be segmented into the oil station expansion of 1.8% year-on-year and same-store sales growth of 14.1% year-on-year. This was not only derived from the heightened economic activities during festivals and holidays, but also came from the consistent patronage of the PT Max Card and PT Max Card Plus members. So consequently, the company successfully augmented its market share at 21.8% in the oil retail sectors, and this was the second consecutive quarter that we have surpassed 20% compared to the first period, the first quarter of 2023, that was at 19.2%, and previous quarter that was at 21%. And it will be the non-oil business when PTR will run through this part.
For non-oil business overview, on the top left-hand side, you will see the number of non-oil touch points at 2,211 touch points at the end of March, which increased by 585 touch point or 36% year-over-year and 5.9% Q-over-Q, which led the non-oil business revenue in first quarter 2024 record at 4,050 million baht, reflecting an increase of 28.7% year-over-year and 7.7% Q-over-Q, which mainly contribute from LPG, the convenience store Max Mart, and Thai coffee business, which will be go through in detail in the next slide. For the gross profit of this quarter has increased of 36.4% year-over-year and 15.3% Q-over-Q to 868 million baht, resulting in 24.5% contribution of total gross profit that you see on the bottom right-hand side, which in line with the company target of non-oil gross profit contribution of level 25 to 30% in this year. And for the non-oil touch point that I mentioned before, have comprised to 942 Thai coffee shops, 590 LPG touch point, but convenience store Max Mart of 355 stores, Coffee World of 28 branches, car repair and maintenance service centers, auto bags of 83 service centers, Magnetrol loop change of 55 touch points, Camp of 93 rest area and 60 EV charging station. In the next slide for LPG business overview in first quarter 2024, on the left-hand side, you will see the overall Thailand LPG consumption, which it decreased by 1.3% year-over-year and 1.1% Q-over-Q, with the highest contribution of 59.4% from the industrial sector, which increased from the same period last year at 58.8%. And in terms of the company, on the right-hand side, we have an ongoing new record of LPG sales volume at 172 million liters, which grows by 14.3% year-over-year and 2.7% Q-over-Q, with the highest contribution of auto LPG at 70.1%, which increased from the same period last year at 67.8%. And when you look at the overall LPG consumption by sectors, you will see a decrease of household LPG consumptions decreased by 6.4% year-over-year and 1.5% Q-over-Q, which due to the manufacturing and export contractions. And the household sector also decreased by 0.3% year-over-year and 0.9% Q-over-Q, which partly offset with an increase of 1% year-over-year, but decreased 1.4% Q-over-Q in auto LPG sector. However, in terms of PTG sales volume, in the right-hand side, we have the continued growth of auto LPG reaching 121 million liters, grew by 18.2% year-over-year and 3.3% Q-over-Q from the implementation of taxi transform and auto transform project with the relative customer of PT Max Card and PT Max Card Plus members. Besides that, we also drive household LPG to grow by 12.1% year-over-year and 1% Q-over-Q to 38 million liters, whereas the industrial LPG decreased by 8% year-over-year, but increased by 3.1% Q-over-Q. As a result, the company hold LPG market share through all channels in the first quarter 2024 at 9.1%, which increased from 8.9% in the last quarter and 8.1% in first quarter 2023. And in terms of auto LPG market share, PTG also retained its first rank with a surge at 28.8% in first quarter 2024, increased from 28.1% last quarter and 25.5% in the same period last year. In this slide, I will show you a Pan-Thai business overview. At the end of first quarter of this year, we have a total of 947 Pan-Thai coffee shops with an increase of 66.1% year-over-year and 7.4% Q-over-Q. Those Pan-Thai coffee shops can be broken down into 78.8% of equity and 63% are located inside PT service stations. For the revenue in first quarter 2024 of Pan-Thai, it has recorded at 494 million baht, indicating an increase of 87.5% year-over-year and 36.6% Q-over-Q, due to the continued expansion of touch point by over 1 branch per day, with a growth of same-store sales from the repetitive customer of PT Max Card and PT Max Card Plus customer. In terms of gross profits, also increased in this quarter to 237 million baht with 56.9% year-over-year and 27.3% Q-over-Q growth. Apart from Pan-Thai, let's take a look at the car repair and maintenance service center or Autobags business overview. In first quarter 2024, Autobags has revenue growth by 33.4% Q-over-Q and double from the same period last year to 236 million baht. This significant growth mostly results from an expansion of its service center by 69.4% year-over-year and 22.1% Q-over-Q to 83 service centers. With the government's easy receipt policy has led to an increase in large ticket purchase that Khun Nopasan mentioned before. In terms of gross profit also grew to 63 million baht, an increase of 54.2% Q-over-Q and 1.5 times from the same period last year, with the upsurge in gross profit margin at 26.8%, which higher from 23.2% in the last quarter and 22.2% in the same period last year, from the supplier rebate, which in line with the sales growth. And this all for the main non-oil business of PTG. And for moving to the financial performance in first quarter 2024, the company has recorded revenue at 54,962 million baht, increasing by 7.9% year-over-year and 11% Q-over-Q, which mainly attribute from the oil business 92.6% of total revenue, or equivalent to 50,912 million baht, which grew by 6.9% year-over-year and 11.3% Q-over-Q. For the company gross profit, there is an increase of 11.8% year-over-year, but decreased by 2.1% Q-over-Q to 3,543 million baht. The growth was largely from the non-oil business, which increased by 36.4% year-over-year and 15.3% Q-over-Q to 868 million baht, with proportions of 24.5%. Moreover, the oil business gross profit amount to 2,675 million baht, which grew by 5.7% year-over-year due to the oil sales volume through all channels increasing both by year-on-year and Q-on-Q. while the decrease in oil gross profit by 6.6% Q-over-Q was mainly attributed to the distributions of Euro 5 since 1st January of this year onwards, which causing the higher cost of oil per liters. Plus, the company recognized a decrease in share profit compared to the same period last year, according to the heightened competition in biodiesel industry. But comparing to the last quarter, the company recognized a decrease in share profit, which record with the result of recognition of a 33.33% shares of profit from an investment in Thailand capital, which we have invested in during in the first quarter. As a result, the company recorded EBITDA of 1,512 million baht, with an increase of 3.9% year-over-year, but a decrease of 12.4% Q-over-Q, with a net profit of 264 million baht, a decrease of 7.1% year-over-year and 51.4% Q-over-Q. For the next agenda of ESG development, the company has recognized the importance of running business responsibly along the value chain in various ESG activities. So we have installed 60 EV charging stations in the first quarter for support electric vehicle, and we have solar rooftop installment on 38 PT service stations to reduce greenhouse gas emission by 152 tons carbon dioxide equivalent in the first quarter of this year, and also reduce electricity fee by 15% or 1.3 million baht. Moreover, we have run waste management business, which reducing a municipal waste by 2,200 tons and reduce over 5,000 tons carbon dioxide equivalent. This business also reduce the accumulated community waste, which promote quality of local life. On the right-hand side, the company and Atlas continue to organize the PT Voluntary Camp project to promote the quality of life for locals in Kabinburi district, Rajinburi province, for over 600 people in the community. Next, let's see briefly target summary of this year. I will start with the touch point at the end of March. We have 2,199 of 2,251 oil service station, and for non-oil touch point at 2,211 touch point from the target of 3,031 touch point. For the non-oil business touch point can be divided into 788 LPG touch point, 1,282 Pan-Thai coffee shop, and for other non-oil touch point at 961 touch point. Move to the right-hand side in part of performance. We have an oil sales volume growth by 16.7% year-over-year, which exceed the target of level 10 to 12% year-over-year. And for LPG sales volume growth at 14.3% year-over-year from the target level of 30 to 40% year-over-year. And for non-oil sales growth, we reached 28.7% year-over-year from 40 to 50% year-over-year. In terms of non-oil gross profit contribution, we in line with 25 to 30% at 24.5%. And for EBITDA growth at 3.9% from the expectation of 8 to 12% year-over-year. Besides that, we have expect capex for this year at range of 4 to 5 billion baht, comprising to oil business with 1 to 1.5 thousand million baht, LPG business at 800 to 1,000 million baht, and Thai business at 500 to 1,000 million baht, non-oil business other non-oil business for 500 to 1,000 million baht. And this mentioned capex mostly invest for touch point expansion, and we expect to invest in business by 1 to 1.5 thousand million baht for new business.
So I would say that to wrap up for the first quarter, we would say that we have grown in every aspect, especially for the oil sales volume, that we can see that it outgrew the market significantly. we grew 16%, while the market grew only 2%. This also led to the decrease in terms of SG&A expense per liter because of the number of sales volume that hit significant growth. In addition, we also increased in terms of GP contributions for non-oil business. You can see that we are now almost reached 25% of total GP for the non-oil. So these three parts, whether it be the significant growth of the oil sales volume and the lower SG&A expense per liter, and also the increase of the GP contributions of non-oil. These three parts play an important role for the company to have the sustainable growth. So this is the wrap up for the first quarter.
The section has come to an end. So on behalf of the Stock Exchange of Thailand, I would like to thank you, corporate, for joining the conference. We look forward to welcome you all again in the next quarter. Thank you very much. ขอบคุณค่ะท่านผู้บริหาร
ขอบคุณครับ